Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. Thank you so much for joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News on our Prayer with Friday. So, this is kind of a special day. This is a day when we actually pray Thanksgiving. We cover going into the weekend, and after the week we've had, we need lots of prayer. Lots of prayer. um there's just so much news. It's like I'll get to one thing and I'm like, okay, don't go down this rabbit hole too far because you got to touch on this, but there's this. It's a lot. But I just want to remind everybody out there, even with all the things going on, God is still greater than anything happening. So with that, let's get into our kids corner.
Sing while walking home, but some people didn't enjoy his happy voice, especially Mr. Carter, the grumpy man next door. "Stop that noise!" Mr. Carter yelled. Clark looked confused. He was just singing with joy. Why did it make Mr. Carter so angry? Clark walked quietly the next day. No singing, no smile. His favorite part of the day had been taken away. Mrs. Lane saw Clark walking quietly and asked, "Where's that beautiful singing voice, dear?" Clark just shrugged and kept walking. "You scared joy away," Mrs. Lane told Mr. Carter. "You never know who needs that song to feel better." The next day, Mr. Carter sat outside, waiting. As Clark walked by, he quietly said, "Sing, kid. The street feels empty without it." Clark sang louder than ever. The street filled with life again. Even Mr. Carter tapped his foot to the beat. Don't hate the light in others. Sometimes their joy is the sunshine we all need.
Yeah. Now that was pretty much a video about haters, right? Don't be a hater, right? Mr. Clark was being a hater, you know, and he may have been having a bad day and just didn't have anybody else to take it out on, right? A lot of times, you know, bigger, older people will bully younger, weaker people because they feel they can. And then sometimes people are just haters to be haters, trust me. I think we've all seen it. I think we've all seen it, you know. I like the joke from Cat Williams. He was like, "You need to think about getting 10 more haters by summer. And if you don't have anybody to hate on me," right? He is all about the haters, but it makes a point that's valid. Somebody's not hating on you, maybe you're not doing something right. It is an oxymoron. It really is. But with all of that said, do not let anybody deter your joy because they're having a bad day. Stay joyful and stay focused. And with that, let's start with our morning prayer, how to honor God with our body. So, God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. So I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please protect our ears and help us listen to your voice. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect our eyes from sin's damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please speak life over our mouths. God, set a guard over our mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help our hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone, and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. And God, please protect our reproductive organs. Help us to honor you, God, with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect our feet as we walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. And with that, you know, again, thank you guys for everyone joining me here on Prayer with Friday. Let me see if we've got anybody in the chat. Yeah, yes, we do. Good morning, Patty Cake. She said, "I was just talking to my boys about that." Well, good. I'm glad we were synced. Yeah, I feel so bad for young people these days because there's so much that they have to deal with, and they're so loving and bright and brilliant. And I would hate for anybody to discourage them. You know, I was teased a lot growing up. It was bad. I would just sometimes I would come home in tears. You know, my mom would always remind me there's something greater that's going to come about in your life later on. You may not see it right now, but don't give up and don't get discouraged when people are teasing you or, making fun of you or, just saying things that are rude to you, trying to discourage you, trying to steal and rob your joy. Don't let them do it. Because if you do, then you're allowing that. The only things that happen to you are what you allow, and nothing more, nothing less. And good morning, Spud McKenzie. Thank you so much. And amen to that. Yes. All right, y'all. Like I said, we got a lot of news to get into. I didn't know where to start. This is crazy. But we are going to start with Melanie King. She did a video. Actually, is that where we're going to start? Wait a minute. Let me check my notes. Like I said, I had a lot of things going on this morning. And I was just like, okay, all right, God, where do we start? What news stories do I start with this morning? Because we are definitely going to have to pray about all these things, right? Yes, we are starting with Melanie King, and she is just bringing up some past videos. As you know, well, as maybe some of you are not know, Hillary Clinton was actually questioned on Capitol Hill yesterday. So it's been a lot of buzz, a lot of media around it. But Melanie King actually has brought up some points about Hillary, her past. You're kind of just setting up who she is. So let's check this out.
Any did you play in criticizing the character of the women who have accused Bill of sexual misconduct?
None. If somebody's willing to pay you $130,000 or $170,000 to say something, and you get your 15 minutes of fame, and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and you're some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have much of a resume to fall back on, and what's there she's lied about. That's the daughter of Willie Horton, as far as I'm concerned.
Hillary Clinton holds a press conference declaring herself a victim after being questioned about Pizzagate, UFOs, and child trafficking during her deposition. She says Pizzagate is one of the most bogus conspiracy theories ever created. Wow. I cannot believe this woman. Well, of course. Why are you confused, Melanie? Of course she's going to deny these things. Of course, they're all going to deny it. Why would I believe any truth would come out of this? But let's hear it from Hillary's mouth.
It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed.
Well, this is quite rich coming from her, because I remember specifically when Pizzagate broke, I was deep into these files. I saw all of the trafficking. I saw it tied to the Clinton Foundation going back to Haiti, seeing her emails where she's sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. And if chicken, if you don't know, is a code word for a baby boy. This is disgusting. But talking about being debunked, Pizzagate was never debunked. Never, ever debunked. There was a media campaign to completely shut down anyone talking about it. And I believe even the guy who shot up the pizza parlor, Comet Ping Pong, he goes there. I think he was a Fed. It was a PSYOP. He goes there, shoots into Comet Ping Pong, and just so happens, well, his bullet hits right through their servers, the computer servers. Then he was arrested, and we don't know whatever happened to him. Really? Is that what you want to tell me? I am just in shock. Like we've seen with John Podesta. We can get into Madeleine McCain, where John Podesta, his brother, Tony Podesta, and then even Ghislaine Maxwell match the exact sketches that what people describe that people did and described to the police there of who they saw taking Madeleine McCann. And it's those three people. But talking about being debunked, okay, look at this. All of the journalists that debunked it, it was never, guys, they just say it's debunked. They say it's too crazy to question. It's too crazy. Why are you asking questions? This is just such nonsense. Why would anyone believe? That is the debunking. That's what they try to do. But it says here, John Podesta's friend, actually, I have the bigger version, but these are several, oops, sorry guys, several of the people who debunked it, all, okay, every single one of them were arrested or convicted for having CP, or literally, as you can see here, what's on the screen, I'm not going to say it, but they for doing something to toddlers. Every single one who was one of these people who did this. But I have a bigger version of that first one because this was the one that really blew my mind. So it says John Podesta's friend who debunked Pizzagate arrested for grape soda with toddlers. Slade Somer, editor-in-chief at The Recount and friend of former Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta, was arrested last month for violating multiple toddlers and babies. You really want to play this game, Hillary? Absolutely, absolutely not. Because I think, in my opinion, Pizzagate, that had, those files were worse because of the imagery that came out of it and the direct links to the trafficking. I mean, they have the NAMBLA assembly.
And I just want to pause right there. And we still don't have maybe all of the files off of the Anthony Weiner laptop. See, they forget about that. Like, there's so many distractions and psyops going on. It's like, if you don't remember some of these other pieces of the puzzle, you're like, oh yeah, that there was that too. During this time, that laptop came out, and her assistant at the time, Abedin, was married to Anthony Weiner.
Okay, National Association of is man boy. I don't want to say certain things. Okay, even the pizza, they had Comet Ping Pong, and then the pizza Besta pizza, which was next door. Two pizza places right next door to each other. Well, you have all this going on with Comet Ping Pong, but then next door, their symbol was the actual symbol for NAMBLA. Okay, these are grown men who like to do what this man was arrested for. And she dare says this. I guys, this is insane.
Okay. Now you got to remember, she's an attorney. I think a lot of people cease to forget that she's a lawyer. Bill Clinton was not a lawyer. Bill Clinton was a complete puppet. He was just charismatic enough to do what he needed to do. She is a part of, what is that family? I think the Roman family or something like that. It's not the Rothschilds. Might be the Rothschilds. I have to double check. But anyway, she's a part of, allegedly, the Illuminati family. This is why Ghislaine Maxwell was at her daughter's wedding. Ghislaine, by the way, didn't she put in place all the foundation for Haiti? She did. She did that. And we're going to look into some things that some relatives, how they're also in federal government. But yeah, Hillary knows exactly what she's doing. She's an attorney. She knows what she can and cannot say. And because it was behind closed doors, we'll never know what happened because, see, those depositions will be sealed. So anything that they say out in public is hearsay. Now, they can be liable if they actually incorrectly make a statement. And anything that she does say, can she be called back again by the FBI if she makes a misstatement contrary to what she said in her deposition? Absolutely. But just like I said, remember, she is an attorney.
You spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files would come out.
And by the way, not to derail this again, she looks better than she did when she was running. Anybody agree? Is that the double? Or is that her? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to the fact that the former president, your husband, Bill Clinton, is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including in some photos featuring women? And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein's ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement, had that not happened, perhaps his predatory behavior could have been stopped earlier. But I think it is fair to say that the vast majority of people who had contact with him before his criminal pleas in 2008 were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that that is exactly what my husband will testify to.
Here's my thing. Your husband was hanging out with him a lot before he was convicted. So the question is, what did Bill know? When did he know it? And what was he involved in prior to? Because you make it seem like, well, he wasn't arrested. But your husband was hanging out with him a lot. Ma'am. Like a whole flight log with Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express. Yeah. Interesting.
Tomorrow.
John Podesta, can you please explain why you have children rented for entertainment for your adult hot tub parties? No one has ever explained why John Podesta has literal pedophile and cannibalism paintings all over his office and his home. Tony Podesta too. And then you look into the spirit cooking dinners, and you look into Marina Abramovic, who's the one that was conducting the spirit cooking dinners. Why are they going to spirit cooking dinners? Why are they sacrificing chickens to Moloch in their backyard? This isn't my words. This is their words. This is in their emails.
Now, Hillary, after all of this, of course, her husband had no idea, nothing. We've seen all the images. We know all the information, guys. They're just playing games, playing all of these games with us. But she was asked another question about Ghislaine Maxwell being at her daughter's wedding, and you have got to see her response. It's what all the elite do. And now we're not calling them the elite anymore. They are either the pedo class or the predator class. And we're going to take a look at that in a second, but I want to remind you guys about realmelanieking.com.
Ghislaine Maxwell, my daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010. She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited?
The +1 to a former president and first lady and also Secretary of State's daughter's wedding, which would be highly guarded. Every single name, every guest would have to be screened and run through checks that you don't. This isn't like a normal person's wedding where you don't have to give the name. Even in normal weddings, on this level, I think her wedding was $3 million. You are going to have the name of that extra, that +1, okay, to be able to write out the place cards and the seating the charts and all of that. They knew she was coming. Now she was a +1. And then right then she has to go ahead and abruptly end the entire thing. Guys, this is classic, but that's not even the real tea. I got to show you this. Because she lied under oath. Because it says, listen to this. It says Hillary Clinton testified under oath today that she never met Jeffrey Epstein. A 2011 email just surfaced of Epstein casually telling someone, hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. Really? Let's take a look. So I'm going to read it over here because it's just much bigger. Someone wrote to Jeffrey. It says, meeting has been added with the CEO of Unilever. Not sure I will be able to get there in time, but I am free after lunch with Eva for a bit. What's your afternoon like? I'm confused. Are they saying that meeting has, is this his assistant who is saying that your meeting with the CEO of Unilever has been, that's happening, that it's been added to his calendar? Who was the CEO of Unilever back then? Are they still the CEO of this company? Meeting directly with Jeffrey Epstein? Perhaps. But then he responds and he says, no problem. Let's go for a walk when you are finished with Eva. Okay. So then that person responds, wait, what does it say? High heels. I guess this is him responding. This is weird. I'm trying to figure this out. It says, high heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. Does Eva live close to you? Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. The car will pick you up. Eva is on 85th and 5th. Okay, so this is Epstein writing to this person. And actually, I made a mistake. Both emails, it looks like, I think both emails are from Jeffrey. So he is saying that it's been added. I'm just so confused on the way they have this. I think they purposely made it confusing. But for sure, Jeffrey is saying, high heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. But does Eva live close to you? Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. I am so confused because who is saying this? Is she saying, it sounds like the woman is responding saying, I have high heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. Does Eva live close to you? But what's weird is that she's going to go meet with Eva. She's going to have lunch. But then why would she ask, does she live close to you? Something's not right about this. I'm going to have to dig through it. But, and then he put the car will pick you up. Eva is on 85th and 5th. This makes no sense. Because if okay, there is time, but I am free after lunch with Eva for a bit. What's your afternoon like? High heels, walk. Okay, so this is redacted. And this person did write this. But it's not making sense. If you met with Eva for lunch, why can't you ask where she lives? I think we have some deception going on because none of this chain is making any sense to me. Mm-hmm. If this woman met with Eva, then she would, hey, where do you live? They would, like, she's meeting with her. So then why would she then ask about Epstein knowing this? And then what is the tie to Hillary Clinton and saying she's prettier in person? So again, it is not a smoking gun, okay, as it's claiming to be. But still, as you put all these pieces together, none of it is making any sense. And you're telling me Jeffrey Epstein went to the White House 17 times. 17 times when Bill Clinton was president. And not once Hillary Clinton met with him. He was over on the island dozens of times. All these different pictures. Not once Hillary Clinton was there. And then even at her own daughter's wedding, invited. They're checking the names. And still, she doesn't meet Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell set up the Clinton Foundation. We'll get into that, though.
I mean, none of it is making any sense. But of course it's not. We're just getting a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bread and circus. Nothing's going to happen to her. Nothing's going to happen to Bill Clinton. But we know these are the games that they play. So guys, I don't know. Maybe my brain is breaking. You let me know. Am I just confused? Maybe explain it to me better. Maybe I need to kind of sit and really pour over this a little bit better. I'm not understanding exactly how this works, but leave a comment. Let me know what
Again, Hillary Clinton is an attorney. She's using language that she knows she can use to deflect. Period. And I'm going to ask a question of Grok before I... Sorry, guys. There's some things I wanted to run through before we check out Grok because I had a few questions. Because you're saying that you never met Epstein, that you had no contact with him, and okay. Even though he was recorded being at the White House while your husband was president several times. Your husband's on the plane several times, but you never met him. Stop that. You guys have a weird relationship, obviously. And we all saw it play out because he was always messing around with other women. A lot. Too many times. My goodness. And some of these people met an unfortunate end, allegedly. But yeah. Hillary, she's an interesting one. Oh my goodness. There's so many comments. As Bud says, Laura Silsby was down in Haiti accused of child trafficking under Clinton. She was caught and then they put her as the person over Amber Alerts for children. Mm-hmm. And Laura Silsby was caught. Okay. And was never prosecuted. They brought her back to the U.S. to head the Amber Alerts for children. So crazy. You're right. You can't make this up. Ask Grok, who is Laura Silsby? Okay, that's going to be a good one. See, y'all just feed my need to do this craziness. So let me check this out. Okay. I would say. Oops. Okay. Hold on a second. Got some typos. Nope. Okay, that's actually spelled right. So I'm gonna let that go. Because a lot of times I gotta let this stuff run its course before I transition screens, so it's not a lot of delay. I've learned some things. But yeah, I at this juncture, we know who these people are. And so here's the deal. We are still the court of public opinion. And we can still choose who we decide to partner with or not partner with, listen to or not listen to. So, in my opinion, individuals that are doing things that are underhanded, that are wrong, we can separate ourselves from them. Now, if the Democratic Party is going to choose to hold up Hillary and Bill Clinton, when we know they've been involved in some alleged, well, just say alleged, right? Illicit activity that has been brought to the public. At this juncture, if we decide to still partner with them in anything, then that's on us. Because we can say, you know what? We're not partnering with you wherever you are. So if you're going to sit with the Democratic Party, we're not going to do that. If you are going to keep your foundation up, we're not going to support it. We demand that the federal government not give them any other funding, period. Now, they could still get funded from other sources, but we're not going to fund you. Our tax dollars are not going to fund you. And if people decide to send you money, then they know what they're sending their money to. You know who you're partnering with. I'm just saying it's got to come down to that. So just asking the question of Grok, who is Laura Silsby? And I asked about her connection to the Clintons, Haiti, and the Amber Alert system. So Lori Silsby, now known as Lori Galier, thank you so much for that maiden name, right, is an American businesswoman and former missionary from Idaho. She gained international attention in 2010 when she led a group of 10 Baptist missionaries associated with New Life's Children's Refuge, a nonprofit she founded in an attempt to transport 33 Haitian children across the border to the Dominican Republic following the devastating January 2010 earthquake in Haiti. The group was arrested on January 29th, 2010 at the border and initially charged with child kidnapping and criminal association as they lacked proper documentation or authorization to remove the children from the country. Silsby claimed the intent was to provide orphanage care and adoption opportunities for children she believed were orphaned or abandoned, but investigations revealed that many of the children had living parents who had voluntarily given them up expecting better care, not realizing they may be taken out of Haiti permanently. So there are countries where they will build like an orphanage, or I don't want to call it a halfway house, but basically it's like an orphanage and it has a school and there's funny. And missionaries do this because our church is actually assisting someone who's doing something very similar to this. I want to say in the Congo, right? Very dangerous, but that's what's happening. So this is what those parents were expecting. Not too far from the parents, maybe a mile or two away from their home where they could still visit their children, but their children will be better off. They'd be fed, they'd be clothed, they'd be educated. The nine, right? That's what the parents are believing. They were taking these kids to a different country. And you're missionaries? What are y'all doing? What are you up to? So the charges against 9 of the missionaries were eventually dropped as they were released. Silsby, as the organizer, was convicted only on a lesser charge of arranging irregular travel and sentenced to time served about 3 months, allowing her release on May 17, 2010. Critics and legal analysis have described the incident as a child trafficking scheme, highlighting Silsby's connection to individuals later linked to human trafficking and the disregard for Haitian family integrity amid post-disaster chaos. However, Silsby and her group maintained it was a humanitarian effort gone awry due to misunderstanding the local. No, you have to understand the local laws before you get there. You don't just run up in a country and be like, hey, we're going to take care of Karen, and then we're going to take your kids across the border somewhere. No, you knew what you were doing. And it was illegal, and you used the church to do it. Stop it. God's going to find you. I'm just letting you know right now, you better repent. Ma'am, just horrible. And unfortunately, Haiti is treated very badly when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, we all know some of the things going on in Haiti, but the child trafficking, the human trafficking going on in Haiti, probably off the charts. Stuff that we don't even know about. So her connection to the Clintons stems from diplomatic intervention during the case. Why were they involved? Huh? 2010? Bill was not in office. Obama was. Let me say that again. Obama was in office. Clintons were in office. Yeah. That was the race Hillary lost. She was the Secretary of State at the time. Yeah. So her connection to the Clintons stems from diplomatic interventions during the case. Bill Clinton, serving as the UN Special Envoy to Haiti at the time, helped broker a deal that facilitated the release of the missionaries, including Silsby. The U.S. State Department under Secretary Hillary Clinton, like I said, just a mess, was also involved through high-level diplomatic cables and advocacy, which pursued Haitian authorities to resolve the matter quickly amid the ongoing earthquake recovery efforts. The Clintons had broader involvement in Haiti relief, including through the Clinton Foundation, which raised sufficient funds for reconstruction, but has faced criticism for inefficiencies and potential conflicts of interest. Yeah, lots of them. What does Haiti look like today? They raised billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Conspiracy theories amplified in online forums and podcasts allege deeper ties, suggesting the Clintons' intervention was to cover up trafficking networks linked to Silsby, though these claims lack direct evidence and are often tied to broader unproven narratives like Pizzagate. Pizzagate has been proven. They always put that out there, though. Because if anybody looked at the WikiLeaks, of which I have a copy of, Pizzagate is running all through there. All through there. It's crazy. So regarding the Amber Alert system, Silsby changed her name. Why are you changing your name, ma'am? Why you change your name? To Gallier after marrying in 2015. Oh, that's why she got married. Okay. And then she returned to Ohio. So you change your name, you return to Ohio. Okay, we get it. Because see, a lot of people when they're in politics like that, they don't change their name. They'll keep their name the same, right? They'll work as the name that people recognize them by, even if they do a name change, but they keep it publicly. The other. Yeah, so you was hiding out. So she is currently employed as vice president of a marketing at AlertSense, a software company includes issuing Amber Alerts for abducted children. AlertSense rebranded as Noexus following a 2018 false missile alert incident in Hawaii, but her role involves marketing emergency alert platforms used by federal and state agencies. This employment has fueled irony and suspicion in conspiratorial circles, given her past conviction related to children in Haiti. It should. It should. Thank you for that tip, Spud. Look, this is crazy. Now we're gonna go move over to this with this whole thing with Ghislaine Maxwell because I was watching Alex Jones the other day and he was talking about how it's Ghislaine Maxwell. She's got relatives that works for the federal government. So yes, there's at least one known relative that works for relative of Ghislaine that's worked with the U.S. federal government. Alexander Durazi, Maxwell's nephew, the son of Isabel Maxwell, served in the U.S. Department from 2009 to 2012. He started as a special assistant in the Bureau of Near Eastern Affairs, which oversees U.S. relations with Arab states, and was later promoted to chief of staff in the same bureau. This period overlapped with Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. He received a State Department Meritorious Honor Award in 2010. But you didn't know who these people were. Okay. So no publicly documented relatives of Jeffrey Epstein have appeared to work for the U.S. federal government. Epstein's only immediate family member is his brother Mark Epstein, who has been involved in real estate and art dealings. Okay. So other Maxwell family members have had indirect ties to U.S. government entities, but not as direct. For example, Ghislaine's sister, Christine Maxwell, co-founded Shiliad, a company whose data mining software was licensed by the FBI for its counterterrorism data warehouse starting around 2004. But she did not work for the FBI herself. She was just handling the information for the FBI. Look, so when things are looking different, yeah. Look, y'all hired her. Do your background. Do your research. You're hiring these people, government. You're contracting with these people, government. So Isabel Maxwell has focused on tech and entrepreneurship, including roles with Israeli companies and organizations like the World Economic Forum, but has no record of U.S. federal government employment. No, so she was just contracted. Yeah, she's got ties with Israel and WEF too. I'm sorry. It's not that it's laughable like that, but it's just like, what is going on? What is going on? So I said, did Ghislaine Maxwell help set up the Clinton Foundation? No. Okay. Maxwell did not set up the Clinton Foundation itself. The Clinton Foundation was established in 1997, originally as the William J. Clinton Presidential Foundation, shortly after Bill Clinton left office in 2001, with its early focus on presidential library operations and global initiatives. There is no credible evidence from public records, investigations, or released Epstein related documents that Maxwell played a role in its founding or initial setup. However, Gessling did have documented involvement in supporting the launch and early operations of of the Clinton Global Initiative. Sorry, I got those mixed up. So there was the initiative. So the foundation was already set up. Then there was the initiative, which is a distinct program launched by the Clinton Foundation in 2005 to convene global leaders for okay, philanthropic, philanthropy, sorry, philanthropic commitments. So, key details from recent Epstein files include emails and Maxwell's own statements in a 2025 Justice Department interview. Maxwell described herself as a very central to the startup or ramp up of CGI. So, how can you be a part of something that intricate? I'm sorry, we'll just use the word intricate to this family, and she's saying she doesn't know you. What? Yes, she does. Stop it. She'd be like, oh, I don't handle the paperwork on that. Ma'am, your name's all over this. This is in 2005. Yes. And here's the thing. People are like, well, this was before he was convicted, but he was doing all the nonsense before he was convicted. How do you think we got the information? You don't just show up at somebody's door and be like, hey, you're doing all this nonsense. How far does it go back? It goes back to the 90s, like 94. When your husband was in office. Bam. You're not that good of a lawyer. You're really not. You can push people off because you don't believe you can go to prison. But the court of public opinion we can come up with our conclusion. We don't need the courts anymore. I'm telling y'all, we don't need the courts anymore. We'll be like, you know what? We know you're guilty. We know you're lying to the American people. And we're just not going to tolerate it. So whenever you come outside, whenever you throw these big galas and all that stuff, people are just not going to show up. Because unfortunately, we know you're not going to get arrested, right? You got Ghislaine's relatives working with the FBI on intricate secret information. They've been working with him since 2004. Yeah. So I'm glad that we've got the information that we've gotten, but what information haven't we got? Was anything destroyed? Was anything else being hidden? Are these people being questioned? I mean, I'm just saying, what's going on? So newly released emails show she participated in budget discussions for the first CGI conference coordinated with Clinton aides and the event producer, Publicus Gruppe, and arranged for $1 million in funding wired to cover production costs for what was referred to as the Clinton Project. She helped broker connections and facilitated aspects of CGI's early events, including through her ties to Epstein, who supported Clinton's post-presidency work and philanthropy. What are we talking about? But you never met him. But he's storing your money like this. You meet those kind of people. Okay. This involvement stemmed from Maxwell's social connections to the Clintons circle in the early 2000s, where she acted as a link between Epstein and Bill Clinton's philanthropic efforts. But you never met. Okay. Gotcha. Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane multiple times for foundation-related travel, but has denied knowledge of Epstein's crime. Stop that. Bill, we got you in a dress with red heels on. Stop that, bro. Stop. Just admit what you did. But hey, you know what? If you want to keep lying because you're good at that, you're a pathological liar, and we all know it. That's why you were impeached. Hey, good on you. If that's how you want to be remembered. But we know better. We know better. Okay. He's just going, shh. And we got saying the quiet part out loud, So note, some older claims Epstein's lawyer once alleging he helped start the Clinton Foundation in a 2007 letter appear unsubstantiated and are not supported by mainstream reporting or official records. Maxwell's role was tied specifically to CGI, not the broader foundation's creations years earlier. Okay. So they got the foundation, and then they had the Clinton Global Initiative, which was secondary. So it probably rolled up, the parent-child relationship as far as that goes. So these details come primarily from the U.S. Department of Justice released Epstein files and congressional oversight probes and Maxwell's depositions. No evidence points to her founding the Clinton Foundation. Okay, well, that's fine, but she's definitely still involved, and that's crazy. But that's what's happening, and that's the interesting thing that's happening, in my opinion, with a lot of this. I mean, how do we get here? What are we doing? Let me go to X and let's see. Let me go to my X feed. Hopefully I can do this right. All right, we're going to start with Benny Johnson. I think this was the same video that Melanie played. And this is Hillary Clinton is finally asked by the media why Ghislaine Maxwell was at her daughter's wedding in 2010 after she was implicated in Epstein's crimes. She claims Ghislaine was just a +1 guest of someone else's who was invited. No one believes it. You can't believe it because I just showed you. She was a part of the Clinton Global Initiative. And she's like, okay, you're working with the aides, and you sure you don't know who this woman is? You sure you don't know who she is? When she was the go-between with Epstein, when Epstein was at the White House like a regular, hanging out with your husband a lot, and not one time? Okay, so when it comes out, Hillary, in the files, because it can only be buried so far, and we will find it. Okay, and I'll just put allegedly. When we find it, what's going to be the response then? Oops, I forgot meeting him. It was such a long time ago that I didn't remember. I mean, what's going to be the excuse? That's all I'm saying. Because there's always an excuse.
Again, James Matthews from Sky News. Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to Dr. Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Again?
Yeah, and that's how you do it. You mic drop and walk off because you know it's coming, ma'am. Ooh, this is I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's crazy. Now we're gonna check out Alex Jones real quick and the World Economic Forum thing that's going on. So the World Economic Forum, WEF, chief resigns after new Epstein doc confirms the globalists were plotting to make the WEF the official world government, accelerating the collapse of the neoliberal order. Live coverage. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to watch the whole thing because I think this is just like a feed of the show.
Wars that need our help. I love you guys. I love all your.
And then we'll spend half the show with solution. No, we already know all this about Israel. It doesn't magically, if you just,
You can go back to the beginning. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for taking my call. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in Iran on top of everything else that's not being covered in the media here in the United States.
Okay. This is just part of the show, but yeah, I just wanted to read you guys that. So the World Economic Forum chief resigns after new Epstein docs confirms the globalists were plotting to make the WEF the official world government. But I think a lot of people kind of know that, right? When they talk about the New World Order and all these different things. Well, what would the New World Order be? Right? It can either be the UN or the World Economic Forum that says that they're just going to take over people's lives and they don't care. I mean, I'm just sit here and shrug my shoulders like that, but I'm like, yeah, that's kind of it. It's kind of it. It's kind of what they're doing. But now let's get into some more local um updates on X, and this is what's going on under Mr. Mandani. Because my goodness, this I feel bad for the people of New York because I really think they believed. Ooh, sorry about that. They believed that if they went the route of socialism, free stuff, they were really going to get free stuff. But see, free things aren't free. Okay, socialism costs a lot of money. It actually costs more money than if you use proper capitalism and proper taxation without overtaxation. Okay, when you have proper capitalism, and what I mean by that is people can enter into the marketplace and, how should I say it, survive or fail based on their efforts. So if you have a good restaurant, you have good food, there's no rats running around. You know what I mean? You're getting good health code inspections and everything's on the up and up. People are going to come to your restaurant. And so you will naturally survive. You will naturally thrive. You will naturally do well in the capitalist system. But if you are not doing well, right? You got rats, you got all these other things. If the market works the way it's supposed to without anybody getting any extra help, everybody's working, paying their taxes, the business that isn't doing as well is going to fail on its own because people are not going to want to go to a dirty restaurant. That's just simple economics. But let's just say they were like, well, we want to make sure that both of these places survive, even if one is failing. And what we're going to do is we're going to overtax the one that's doing well to prop up the one that's not. That's kind of socialism works. We're going to prop up people who aren't doing as well as other people. Eventually, everything's going to collapse because it's unsustainable. And you already see it. And he hasn't even been in office for 90 days. You guys, it's just the end of February. He just got in January. We're not even at the end of March. And the city's already going to be put into debt. The patients are running the insane asylum, I'll put it that way, of New York City. And so the question is, how do we bridge the gap with these individuals and talk to them and say, hey, maybe this wasn't the best solution. We know you want free stuff. Free things aren't free. You guys need to economically really look at what are your biggest deficits and work your way out of that. Because right now we can't point the finger. And I was listening to Sonny Johnson's show and say, haha, you made a bad decision. No, we can't say, haha, you made a bad decision. We have to go, okay, you guys made a bad decision. This person is in there. So what are you going to do? Right? Because what you do affects everybody in the country. No, I don't live in New York City, but it does affect me. Why? Because I do pay federal taxes. And those dollars go to support states like this when they are not doing as well. You cannot tax people into oblivion thinking that's going to work. It's not going to work. It's craziness. So let's check out this. So Zoran Mandami is paying workers $45 an hour to shovel snow in New York. Okay. There are 16 people standing around poking at this little pile of snow. This alone is costing taxpayers $720 an hour. Okay, my question is, are they picking up the poop where the snow is going to melt so people don't have to walk on it on the sidewalk? Because we saw that about a week ago when that happening. So let's see what the workers in New York are doing. $45 an hour, you guys.
Yo, how much I get paid for this? $45 an hour?
Yeah. $45 an hour, taxpayer money going. I mean, on one hand, I'm glad they're working, but on the other hand, You're not moving snow at all. Where's the salt at? Because salt is going to help break some of this down, because right now it's probably ice. Just saying. Just saying. So this is another video. I think this is the same one I showed. Yeah, this is from the 24th. New Yorkers spent all day drilling officers with snowballs. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what they're doing, you guys. I mean, and like I said, it is a sad situation. What is happening in New York City? It's horribly sad. Let me see. Those are ones I want to. I'm trying to find this other video of the snow, because it was really interesting what they're doing. I was like, what? Wait a minute. This does not look like what's going on. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I probably didn't save it. Okay. But there was something to the effect. Let me look it up really quick. And it was a little concerning. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so we got that. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So I did show you guys the right one. But now I got to get to this other one. The wonders of technology. The wonderful world of technology. Let's see if I can find it. So we got that. We got this. Nope, it's not there. I got all these little bookmarks now to kind of help me keep things organized. And now I'm too organized. It was like now I'm overly organized. Oh, come on. I need to find it. Nope, it's not there. But I know I got it. I kind of like my little bookmark situation, but right now, not helping me. I got that. I got that. I got that. Here it is. Okay. Sorry, guys. So this is Nick Sortor. This is his post. And breaking, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg has dropped the assault charge against the 27-year-old West African Guzman Kawalabi, who threw ice balls at New York officers. This guy is also indicted for robbery 3 weeks ago, but is once again free. Like, so you're constantly committing crimes and they're just letting you out. When is enough enough? Now they may be like, oh, this is just petty. No, it's a crime. And is this person even a naturalized citizen? Because you're calling him West African. What does that even mean? What? Because if he's here illegally and he's committing crimes, he needs to be deported immediately. Ship it out. Where is ICE?
Did you put rocks in the snow?
We can answer some questions.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I will answer some questions.
Okay, no problem. Some very serious claims being made right now, including them saying that he put rocks.
And the question is, how are you affording a lawyer? Oh, yeah, that's the NGOs, you guys. They're supporting criminal activity. Alvin Bragg is just dropping the assault charges against police officers? What is going on in New York? I don't know. Sonny, you got to help me, because I understand what you were saying. You don't want to be like, tee-hee, look at what you guys did. You made a bad decision. This is criminal at this point. Like, literally, the patients are running the insane asylum. You are letting the criminals run New York. There's no longer any rule of law at all when you're going to let criminals literally assault, well, batter. It's not assault, assault's verbal, but batter police officers and then reward them with freedom. And this person already committed another crime weeks prior. What is it going to take? Somebody losing their life to this person before we say enough? This is the military age man, 27 years old. You need to be deported immediately if you are not a naturalized citizen.
This
is the first I'm hearing of rock science. I don't know where you got that from. There's nothing in the criminal complaint that says that.
You mentioned in court that you felt this was politicized. How's it been politicized?
I think it's obvious to most New Yorkers. I think the police have an issue with the mayor of our city. I think they're taking it out on Mr. Koulibaly.
The police have an issue with the mayor. They are battering the police. They should have an issue with the mayor because there's no law and order because the police are being told, stand down by the mayor. He does have authority over them. Not necessarily over their chief of police, right? But he can say, hey, in certain situations, these actions don't need to be taken, or he can just completely override them.
They want to pick a fight with the mayor. I don't think this is the way they should be doing it. From what I've seen, there are not many things that the mayor and I agree on. I'm not the biggest fan. However, I did see the videos, and my client, according to them, I haven't seen a specific indication that my client was throwing the snowball. But going based upon what they said, that they have an indication that he actually threw a snowball, that's all it was. There's no information that there were rocks, that these were ice, snowballs. The police went so far as to charge him with a C violent felony. Okay.
Does that raise a due process issue in your view, that other people are getting similar charges?
Well, I don't think that's a due process issue. I think it's selective prosecution. I don't know how they decided on Mr. Koulibaly. Frankly, we're not there yet. All I can go by is what I heard in the courtroom and what I had in this criminal complaint. And thankfully, the DA Bragg and his assistant who's handling the case was able to see through the politicization of this and reduce it to obstructing governmental administration.
You said you saw the videos, and they're claiming that in the videos it shows that they have ice.
I have not seen it. I've seen the video that most people see. The DA's office has not provided video to me yet.
You mentioned in court that you don't see how your client could have obstructed government administration because you didn't know what the administration was. What about the harassment? Was your client harassing others?
Well, I don't know if it's harassment. What I did say in court is, at worst, this could be a summonsable offense, which is harassment, disorderly conduct. That is a possibility. But again, I have not seen proof. That's going to come with the discovery phase of the case. So I don't know what specific proof they have that my client did.
Your client's a content creator. Is this sort of a product of that?
No, this has absolutely nothing to do with that. And because it's an open case, I can't really discuss that.
How do you categorize the word attack being used? What do you say to?
Okay, so somebody in the background said he's a content creator. Who is this guy? Look, like now I'm curious. Look, now I'm like, who is this dude? If he's a content creator. Like, y'all know how I get. We will do this together. Because I was like, how are you affording anything? Nope, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Let me ask Grok. Let's take it to the stage. Okay, we'll find out in just a second here. And Sincerely Lotta says, good morning and happy Friday, founder. Happy Friday to you too. Thank you so much for joining and reposting the stream. He's a 27-year-old individual. Because I was like, how is this guy in a snowball fight? And then he's got an attorney. Like, those two things don't square. All right. You got enough money for an attorney to speak on your behalf at a press conference? Who are you? Okay. As a West African, likely from Mali or a neighboring country based in the region, who gained viral attention in late February, he was arrested, by the NYPD, assaulting officers by throwing snowballs um, during an incident in Washington Square Park. This occurred shortly after arrest, and 3 weeks earlier, attempted robbery. Why are you attempted robbery if you were a content creator? Like, a lot of this is just not adding up. Like, this is really crazy. So the assault charge was later dropped by Bragg's office because they don't go after real crime. The case sparked significant online discussion, often criticizing New York's criminal justice policies. They don't have any. Regarding being a content creator, some reports on X reference video from his apparent YouTube channel shown during one of his arrests. Like, he is occasionally labeled as such in commentary. However, no major verified profiles or widespread content creation presence. Okay, turned up prominently tied to him. So he's not like a big content creator, but he's online. But what are you doing? Being a criminal. And in New York, what are you doing? Supporting criminal activity. Like, a lot of these things need to just stop. It's just not squaring. Now we're going to pivot to Minneapolis, because apparently, oh my word, y'all. Okay, so this is what's going on. Apparently, Target is they're how should I say, they're not leaving, but some different things are happening in Minneapolis. There's that. There's this. I'm trying to see where I can find it, because I've got, like I said, I got all these folders. I just got to remember where I put stuff, because my goodness, it's a lot. I come across various things, and I want to make sure I share them with you guys. It's not there. It's not Georgia News. Maybe I'll put it in here. This is very important, because I was like, what is going on with Minneapolis? And why is this going on? Minneapolis. There's just a lot of sense. Oh, that's what it was. The trending topic. That's why I was like, why isn't it? It's not in my bookmarks because it was a trending topic. Here it is. There we go. Okay, so Target pays $110 million to exit Minneapolis office lease. So they're paying $110 million to get out of their lease early. You know how, I don't know if some people have been through that with leases. It's like, okay, if you want to leave early, you're going to have to pay damages to us so we don't lose any money on our end. So the retailer vacated almost 1 million square feet in the city center tower back in 2021, one of the first big shifts from traditional office life, and struggled to sublet the space despite renewing the lease through 2031. Only law firm Fox Rothschild took 40,000 square feet in 2022. The payout helps owner Waterton City Center LLC, linked to Samsung, cut its mortgage and puts the 51-story building, now valued at $117 million, half of 5 years ago, up for sale amid 10 million square feet of vacant offices downtown. Target keeps its headquarters nearby and calls employees back 3 days a week, while brokers see chances for new uses beyond offices. Yeah. So when COVID hit, everybody was like, okay, yeah, work at home. But then they didn't They didn't think it through because evil is dumb and stupid. You're going to have all these empty buildings that you still have to pay for that no humans don't need to go back to, because everybody was like, we're more efficient working at home and we're getting a lot more done than we are having to take an hour to travel back and forth to work, and we have a better quality of life. Just let us finish working at home. Why are we in the office? But it was like they were trying to use it to separate people, but people actually did better working from home. And now they're mad. They're like, wait a minute. We got this big old building here and nobody's sitting in it. Wait, come back. Come back. Don't leave us. No. Simply Soulful says, a city that doesn't want to maintain law and order is a city that is determined to self-sabotage and fail its citizens. It's just a tragic comedy at this point. It is, and it's so sad because I don't want to laugh at the people of New York. I'm praying for the people of New York because, again, they were thinking, okay, this guy's really going to be able to do what he says. It sounds logical. Socialism always sounds great, but when you look at it on paper of where things need to come from and who are the winners and losers, you're like, no, we don't want to do that. Now, had somebody laid out to them, this is what it's going to look like, and there were people trying to warn them, they would have been like, no, we don't want to vote for this. We need something a little bit more, that's something that's better, that's going to help us, not dig us into a bigger hole. But you didn't want that. Because, see, all you know is I hate Trump. I hate anybody that's a capitalist, which those are the people that you're overtaxing to pay for all your free stuff, by the way. You do all these things. I'm sitting there going, I want, but I don't want to make anything that somebody wants to purchase. I just want to sit around and consume. You have to decide who you're going to be in this environment. And there's going to be some hard conversations that need to be had because people made a bad decision. Again, like I said, it's going to affect the rest of us. And Sassy Lady says, good morning, Dr. Nichols. Have a blessed day. You too, Sassy Lady. And thank you so much for joining us. So this says, after months of protest and repeated, okay, let me pause that. And repeated store disruptions, Target paid $110 million just to terminate its lease and leave downtown Minneapolis. When a company would rather lose 9 figures than stay, that tells you everything you need to know.
Hi, Brian. My name is Pastor Martha Bardwell, and I'm here with a bunch of clergy in the lobby of corporate headquarters. We are waiting here to speak with you.
That's the right Brian Cornell?
You're out of town. Here, I'm putting you on speakerphone so we can all hear you. Go ahead.
I am out of town right now and heading into a meeting, but I know our local group is going to be happy to talk to you. So thanks.
Okay, can we get you on Zoom? Can we get you on Zoom after that meeting?
Sorry, I better run.
We're in total crisis over here in Minnesota. We really need to talk with you.
Oh, it's really, is it? Yeah, they have protested their way into moving a large company, their headquarters, away. Now, again, the people aren't going to be completely destitute. So Target is not relocating its headquarters out of Minneapolis based on the latest available reports. Instead, the company recently paid approximately $110 million to terminate its lease early for nearly 1 million square feet of office space in the downtown city center building, which it had vacated back in 2021 amid shifts to remote and hybrid work post-COVID. Target has emphasized its ongoing commitment to the area, noting that it remains the second largest employer in downtown Minneapolis and has consolidated staff into other nearby properties around its Nicollet Mall headquarters. This move frees up the city center property for sale by its owner, an entity linked to Samsung, but it does not signal a full departure from the city. So they're moving from the larger building, and they're just going to be a satellite headquarters. Again, when businesses do things like this, they're lowering their taxable debt. So it's like, okay, instead of paying $500,000, they'll just pay $200,000. So that's less taxable revenue for the city. What do you think is going to happen to your services, Minneapolis? You're driving business away. Things are not free. And we're still dealing with the fraud. Stop that. We're still dealing with that. You stop. We're still dealing with that. Okay? Because we have to. Because this is crazy. Because this is just a little insane. So now let me get to apparently there's talks of impeachment in Minneapolis, which is kind of crazy. I was like, what? What is going on, y'all? It's just really messy what's going on. So apparently Minnesota lawmakers just filed articles of impeachment against Governor Tim Walz and AG Keith Ellison in response to both of them allowing rampant fraud. Wow. Okay, y'all decided to get off of y'all's rusty dusties because we ain't just been talking about this for months. It's cool. So Ellison had the Feeding Our Future fraudsters in his office doing an alleged quid pro quo. So that is the recording that people are talking about. So let's see what these gentlemen are saying here about these articles of impeachment.
Hey folks, Representative Drew Roach here. Here with my other colleagues from the Minnesota Freedom Caucus, here to do the work for the people.
Representative Ben Davis, folks, and in my hands I have articles of impeachment against Attorney General Keith Ellison. As I'm sure you're aware, he had the Feeding Our Future fraudsters in his office doing an alleged quid pro quo. He's not fit for office.
Representative Mike, impeachment articles for the fraudster in chief, Tim Walz, holding politicians accountable, holding him accountable for the massive amount of fraud in the state of Minnesota. Estimated $9 billion taxpayers' money that is being wasted. Ready to drop this.
Right. Now that's outside of the federal money. This is just the state. This is just the state stuff they're talking about. Now I know that the Feeding Our Future was tied to federal, but that's what they're also using as something else he's a part of. So the $9 billion is outside of the $250 million federal. He needs to step down. He should have stepped down a long time ago. But no, you want to sit here because, evil wants to reign. I'm just saying, evil wants to reign. I don't know what we're going to do, y'all. And now, let me check to see what else I've got going on in here. Hopefully, yep, there we go. So Nick Sorator brought us this post. He says, breaking America's first Muslim federal judge, Zahid Qureshi, is now threatening to haul in DHS and DOJ officials if they continue arresting illegals and refusing to release them into the U.S. I had to let that sit in. And it's, I don't know if you guys remember my guest that I had on yesterday, Simeon. He said, if I go to another country, and I have a visa, they want to know where I'm going, how long I'm going to be there, who I'm seeing. They want to know every single detail of my life. And in some countries, if I overstay my visa, I'm going to be immediately arrested, not necessarily deported, arrested. Then I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get to the consulate and get back home. But for some reason, all the other countries, they have strict laws when it comes to people being in their countries. And you better not stay a day over your visa. You better not be here illegally. You better leave. But for some reason, it's like, oh, we can just do whatever we want to the United States. Y'all better let us stay. This person needs to be removed from the bench. And guess what? He can't be because he's a federal judge. I'm going to check it out. But I think he can be removed if he's a federal judge. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Trump does. So this Biden judge is trying to block ICE from operating and should be removed from the bench. How the heck is he supposed to allow illegals who have no right to be here to be released on bond? they can be released without bond in their own countries. And the other one that's really crazy is the one where they're demanding that we don't return people to their countries, and the countries that they're supposed to go to, those countries are like, we don't want those people back. They're your people. What are we talking about? Stop that. Stop it. I was like, what? And I actually looked this up in Grok. Wait a minute. Entertain me 1 second on this one, because I was like, wait a minute. Could we do that? I was like, can we cut their aid and demand they take their people back? Can we do that? And Grok entertained me for a second. Because I was like, can we do that? I was like, with countries not wanting to take back their citizens, could the United States refuse to give them annual aid and still return their citizens to them? Yes, the United States could refuse to provide annual foreign aid to uncooperative countries, while still pursuing the return, deportation, removal of their citizens. So we could deport them all and say, guess what? And we're not going to give you any money. Here's the caveat, though. It's grounded in U.S. law, executive authority, international norms, and practical enforcement tools. So the caveat is, so there's international law support. The U.S. has independent authority over foreign aid. Foreign aid is not an entitlement. It is authorized and appropriated by Congress annually via acts like Foreign Assistance Act, but subject to broad presidential and executive discretion. So if the president says, hey, I want to cut this by 50% or 75%, because what we're not going to do is be told we're going to keep people here illegally, and you what? And you want us to pay you some money? No, you got to go. This has to stop. Like it's beyond harm right now. And like I said, there's a lot going on. Told y'all. I'm just trying to give you the news as best I can, because oh my goodness, there's so much of it. It's like, oh, okay, we got the news here. All right, let me find this other piece of news. Let me see if I find the right one. Why can't I find it? I hate when I'm trying to do the best that I can with what I have, and I'm still behind the 8 ball a little bit. Not in a bad way though. Just saying. Think one. Let me look it up. Oh no, that was another one. Sorry. I keep getting mixed up between my topics I have in my folders, because I do like the trending topics. I'll find them and then I'll have to go back to them. Okay, so let me look up this trending topic. Because this one is kind of important. Yeah. Let's go 3. Okay, so let's see this one. Hold on. So this isn't the same post that I have, but it's very similar. So McConnell caught looking shocked when asked, why are you blocking the Save America Act, the bill for real voter ID and secured elections that 85% of Americans demand? Burchett passed the Save America Act, and then let's talk about some term limits, right? So here's McConnell. He is in a wheelchair. Who does that remind you of? Dianne Feinstein. He is nothing but a shell of a person. He probably doesn't even know what's going on, you guys. That's the crazy part. So Senator Mitch McConnell and the SAVE Act and Tim Burchett's comments. So Let's check this
For
out.
McConnell, can you give us some information on why you blocked the SAVE Act, or any information on your thoughts on what Rep. Tim Burchett said about staffers running your office? Any comments, sir?
No, he can't say anything. He can't say anything. You know why? Because he's here, but nobody's home, y'all. Because that's what's going on. He's there. We see his body, but no one is home. Remind us somebody else that they were holding up stuff on. She died shortly after this. Why? Because this is about power. This isn't about the people. This is about power. And as far as I'm concerned, Republican Party, this is on you. You don't get to run away from this. You accuse the Democrats of doing it. You're doing it as well. Why is he still in office? There needs to be removals. If you can't walk, if you can't function on your own, and I'm not talking about people maybe had an accident or something and they need, to kind of get pushed around, but you're not cognizant. Your body's here, but you're not. Yes, his office is running his vote. That's why it's stopped right now. Everybody wants the SAVE Act put in place. The Democrats don't. Maybe it's the Republicans too. I'm just saying. It's not that it's not a good look. It's a horrible look. It's horrible. It's absolutely devastating to people who want actual change. And you can get that change done. And it needs to be done at the federal level because we are tired of people cheating in elections. From local elections all the way up. People are exhausted with the criminality in our government. And it's so too much in our face that it's absolutely, it's devastating and it's horrible how people think, oh, we'll just do whatever we want. And they'll just deal with it. Wow. I'm like, oh my goodness. You just don't care. Now we're going to check out this video. And this is Representative Shontel Brown. And she is she's introduced legislation. She goes, we've got to get hair products with formaldehyde off the shelves and out of salons. The Healthy Hair Act will work to effectively ban the use of this chemical in hair products. Representative Ayanna Pressley and I got together to talk about the importance of this legislation in the moment. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, Ayanna doesn't have hair. She doesn't. I'm not sure why she has chosen not to have hair, but that doesn't mean that there aren't products for her scalp. There are some people that naturally lose their hair for different reasons. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure what's behind her not having hair, but guess what? Guess what else? Formaldehyde. Or what else there's formaldehyde in? Actually had a response. Let me open it to this. But there's formaldehyde in aspartame. And so I said, great, get it passed and also look into aspartame, which is also formaldehyde. It's a form of formaldehyde in diet drinks. It needs to be withdrawn from all products. So that's my whole thing. If you're going to do it for this, do it for everything, because formaldehyde is in a lot of different things besides hair products. Not belittling the hair products. But if you're really going to do it, get it done. And why aren't you working with the HHS secretary who could actually get this done? Have you talked to RFK? Have you sat down and had a conversation? He can help you. He's an attorney. But we'll see what they have to say.
Shontel Brown. I am here with Congresswoman Pressley, and I am super excited. It's Black History Month, and we are having Black History Month in action. Listen, she and I have been working on some legislation since March, I think, of 2023, and we are very concerned about the formaldehyde, the carcinogens that have been found in Black hair care products that have been targeted to Black and Latina women and has had adverse effects on our health. And so it's about time that we tell the people what this is really all about. Can you tell us the importance of having this legislation brought back up again right now?
I'm proud to be a co-sponsor with Representative Brown on the Healthy Hair Act. We all know that race-based hair discrimination is real. That's why we still need to pass the Crown Act federally, which I'm proud to be a sponsor of that, and thank you for your support in that regard. But because the race-based hair discrimination is real, as Black women, we are heavily marketed towards a Eurocentric standard of beauty. And I just think, listen, however you, express yourself, whether it's with a bald alopecia crown or whether it's with locks or braids, extensions, a lace front, whatever it is, that's your business and your right, and you should not be discriminated for that. Nor should your health be compromised for that. So should you choose to use a chemical hair straightener, we don't want administrators of those products, our cosmetologists, our beauticians, our barbers, or consumers of those products to experience an uptick in uterine cancer in Black women, hormone disruptors, so impacting reproductive outcomes, fibroids, and things like that. So you deserve to show up in the world exactly as you are, however you choose to do that. You should not be discriminated against, which is why we need to pass the Crown Act. And your health should not be compromised, and that's why we need to pass the Healthy Hair Act.
Well, she said it all. You covered it.
Okay, so we're going to pass this Healthy Hair Act. Okay. I would have to look more into it. But what I would want to say is, where are the mass class action lawsuits for the people who put this formaldehyde in the products in the first place, mass produced them, and distributed them to Black Americans specifically? Because there aren't a lot of Latinas running around putting braids in their hair or wearing lace fronts. I'm just saying, they do wear some of the hair, but not all of the hair. We do. Are you going to go after the companies that are mostly in Asia, China specifically, and run them down and take them out of our neighborhoods for the products that they're selling to us that are killing us, that are causing all these harms that you mentioned? I mean, what are we really talking about? You want to stand up there kind of be like, hey. And Spud said formaldehyde chemical products removal is more important topic to our community than anti-Black hate crime bill or reparations. It's crazy because it's killing us, and they know it's killing us. But like I said, I would have to look more into the specifics of this bill and if it's actually going to go after the people that are causing the harm, because you're not talking about going after these people. And you want it removed. What about the harm that's been done? Are these people going to have to come up before Congress and be questioned about what they purposely put in the products to sell specifically to our community? We're going to talk about that. I'm telling you, it's just some of those things. It's just some of those things. I know I'm not going to get to everything. I already know. It's like, I'm not going to get to everything that I want to get to today. Let me see. Was there anything else in this folder? Nothing else in that folder. Let's see. DHS. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about this. So apparently, our DHS secretary, she had one of her staffers put something on her phone, and she was not aware of it. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Now, Harrison, he's from InfoWars. He was talking about it yesterday. He goes, I can't believe how calm she is. I don't understand. I was like, well, she's got to present as her persona. She can't crash out. She can't. Even though on the inside, she's probably like, what? So breaking Secretary Kristi Noem just shockingly announced that Elon Musk helped her uncover spyware installed by DHS staffers onto her phone and computer. Traitors must be prosecuted. Elon Musk and his team were extremely helpful to me. They helped me identify that some of my own employees in my department had downloaded software on my phone and my laptop to spy on me to record our meetings. They had done that to several of the politicals. Wait, we ended up bringing in people, and that was something that if you didn't have those technology experts here in the department looking at all our laptops and our phones and recognizing that kind of software, it would still be happening today. So, had Elon Musk and his team of Doge not been there, that would be happening. And they didn't want to codify Doge, by the way. Okay, Republicans, what y'all doing? You have the majority. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Sideways. Sideways is how I'm looking at you. So, one of the things I need to do and continue to do is partner with technology companies and experts to bring them in to help us. So, let's look at her interview with PBD.
Can't believe what I found since I've been in this department. I just found the other day a whole room in on this campus that was a secret SCIF, secure facility that had files nobody knew existed. So we just happened to have an employee walk by a door and wonder what it was and started asking questions. We went in there. There was individuals working there that had secret files that nobody knew about on some of these most controversial topics like that. And now I've got that turned over to attorneys and we're getting to the bottom of what exactly happened there. You know, we have.
Wait. What? Y'all was just like, what? Well, where does this door go? Who are you? And what? What? I can understand why Harrison was crashing out because she is very matter of fact about it, right? Because she can't crash out during the interview. I mean, emotionally, I can understand. Sorry, guys. I usually have my phone on do not disturb. Sorry about that. But oh my goodness, what? Huh? I can't.
CBP, which is Customs and Border Protection. They know every traveler that comes into this country, every good that comes in. They're the ones who assess and collect all of the tariffs. But the information that they had on travelers that came in during COVID, what are national labs, which I also have national labs under my jurisdiction. They're scientists that participated with that Wuhan lab, how they were traveling back and forth between each other and working on those experiments. It's been eye-opening. And I'll tell you, Patrick, even from the time I came into this office, it was, Elon and his team were extremely helpful to me. They helped me identify that some of my own employees in my department had downloaded software on my phone and my laptop to spy on me.
Stop it.
To record our meetings.
Wow.
They had done that to several of the politicals.
Wow.
And so we ended up bringing in people and that was something that if you didn't have those technology experts here in the department looking at all of our laptops and our phones and recognizing that kind of software, it would still be happening today. So one of the things I need to do and continue to do is partner with technology companies and experts to bring them in and help us. Because many times in government, and especially in this department, which was extremely neglected, we were just behind and not up to the standard we should be at. I remember the first 4 months, I couldn't even send a PowerPoint over email from the Department of Homeland Security servers that was longer than 6 pages long. So the backwards thinking of protecting our country was extremely detrimental to keeping us safe. And many times the deep state, I think what I tell people most of the time is I always believed when people talked about the deep state before that it existed. I never would have dreamed that it was as bad as it is. It is. I'm still every day trying to dig out people who don't love America, that not just work at this department, but also work throughout the federal government.
And you had somebody. I already showed you this dude. Did we show? Yeah, this guy who wants to haul in the DHS. They found a skiff behind a closed door with people in there, and they don't even know who these people were. And it's called Department of Homeland Security. That's really unsecure. I'm just saying. My goodness. Okay, I wanted to look at this. Because like I said, I know I'm not going to get to everything, y'all. I'm just, not that I'm all over the place, but oh my goodness. My notes aren't keeping up with me, so I'm just going to roll with it. But I wanted to share this with you. So apparently, Texas House Republicans have been busy passing tons of bills for Muslims. Now, this is in Texas. This is 22 hours ago that they came across this. And this has been happening since 2025. So they passed March 13th last year, HR 34, which recognizes the holy month of Ramadan. Why? Why is that being passed in our country? In Texas. Okay, Texas. HR 36 recognizes the holiday of Eid al-Fitr. What are these things? We're recognizing religions? Okay. HR 37 commends the they commends the Engage Texas Emerging Leaders Program, which has ties to CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay. HR 32 recognizes Pakistani Day at the Texas Tap. Why? Why are we celebrating other countries in our country? Like, this needs to stop. HR 1802 passed February 5th, honors and memorializes an Islamic figure. HR 408 honors Bangladesh Day. HR 256 commemorates the 25th anniversary of Harmony Public Schools. HR 641 to establish Recognize Islami Day. HCR 85 wants to designate March 15th as a Combat Islamophobia Day. Nobody's Islamophobic. We just don't want you here because you want to practice Sharia law and it does not align with the Constitution. We want you off the soil. If that makes me Islamophobic, oh well, whatever. I do not care. You do not belong here. If you want to practice a type of Islam that is Sharia law based, okay, jihadi based, you need to go to those countries where they do that and have at it. But you can't do that here. And you're not going to establish that here. But this is what they're trying to do. This is introduced and it's pending. These were passed. Okay, so we need to understand what's happening in our country. And if they infiltrate Texas, come on now. HB 1044 wants to grant legal authority to imams to perform marriages. No. If that's what y'all want to do in your thing, in your sanctuary, yeah. No. HCR 18 introduced wants to designate May as Muslim Heritage Month. What? But that would be in their state. That would not be federal. Okay. HR 45, currently pending, wants to recognize April 29th as Texas Muslim Capital Day. We celebrate mediocrity in this country. HB 667, introduced March 4th, 2025, wants to expand further halal food options. Why don't you just bring your kids a sack lunch to school and let them eat their food, which you would know it would be clean. It wouldn't be mixed with anything else. Why are you forcing everybody to eat like the way you eat? There are people that are vegans. There are people that are vegetarians. There are people that are carnivores, and they can choose how they want to eat. They're not forcing anybody to eat the way they do. Everybody has their position. Some people are like, this works really well. It works good for my body. Well, what works good for your body might not work good for somebody else. Okay. If people want to eat bacon, let them eat bacon. If you don't like it, don't have your kid go to school there. Homeschool them. But stop trying to force everybody to be conducive to you. Stop it. You came over here saying we want freedom. No, you don't. You want to conquer and take over. And that's what this is. And I need the people to just say it out loud. So let's check out this video from this young lady speaking upon it.
Good morning, everybody. I feel like today is a good day to talk about the involvement and the impact that the Texas House has had within the Muslim community, starting with all of the bills that were passed in 2025. HR 34 was passed on March 13th, 2025, and it recognizes the holy month of Ramadan. HR 36 was passed on March 13th, 2025, and that recognizes the holiday of Eid al-Fitr. HR 37 was passed on April 21st, 2025, and that commends the Engage Texas Emerging Leaders Program, which has ties to both CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. HR 32 was passed on March 20th, 2025, and that recognizes Pakistani Day at the Texas Capitol. HR 182 was passed on February 5th, 2025, and that both honors and memorializes an Islamic figure. HR 408 was passed on March 14th, 2025, and that honors Bangladeshi Day. HR 256 was passed on March 6, 2025, and that commemorates the 25th anniversary of Harmony Public Schools. Moving on to the ones that have been introduced or may be pending but have not yet passed. HR 641 was introduced March 27, 2025, and that's to establish Ismaili Day. HCR 85 was introduced March 5th, 2025, and that wants to designate March 15th as Combat Islamophobia Day. HB 1044 was introduced on March 10th, 2025, and that wants to grant legal authority to imams to perform marriages. HCR 18 was introduced March 5th, 2025, and it wants to designate May as Muslim Heritage Month. HR 45 was introduced November 25th, 2024, and is currently pending, and that wants to recognize April 29th as Texas Muslim Capital Day. And lastly, HB 667 was introduced March 4th, 2025, and that wants to expand further halal food options. I think it's fair to say that we have a slight issue going on in the Texas House with all of these things being passed that have nothing to do with Texas. And so, like I've said, not only do I urge you to look up these bills, try to see who voted for them, and make sure you're paying attention to who's running for the state house in these upcoming elections.
Yeah, because more than likely, you want to say, well, they're probably just Democrats. You know what? I'm not putting it past anybody right now. It could be anyone. I'm just saying. I am just saying. It could be anyone. Okay. But this dude, President Trump, you got to remove this guy. You got to shut it down. I'm just saying that's in your purview. Now, breaking. U.S. Capitol Police arrested Ilhan Omar's State of the Union guest after she refused to stop standing and blocking others in the gallery during Trump's speech. What is wrong with these people? You're invited and you're still being a disruptor? And this is the same deranged activist arrested in Minneapolis for using her car to block ICE agents' car. Okay, this is her. Full mask. This lady. This young woman, okay, with a mask on. Why do you have a mask on? But I guess to each his own. So let's see this video.
Is that this is an ongoing fear and threat for people around this country. What happened to me is absolutely not new in the history of this country, and we have not seen accountability that gives me any reason to believe this won't be done to somebody else. So that's what I'm thinking about today. And honestly, I'm glad that it's me sitting in that seat rather than somebody who's cheering for what happened to me.
Nobody's cheering for what happened to you. Ma'am, you decided to put yourself in harm's way and violate Title 18, Section 111. It is very interesting to me how these people feel justified to commit crimes. I mean, they feel completely justified. That's a 4-minute video. I will do it. But this one, I definitely have to play for you guys. It says, American goes to vote in Austin, Texas. She shows that they will material for the Democratic convention, but won't give any information about the Republican convention. Okay, so let's check out her experience.
I just went and voted. Guess what just happened? So apparently if you're going to vote in City Hall in Austin, Texas, you're not allowed to get information about the Republican convention. Let me show you what happened.
So have you told anybody else that they weren't allowed to take a picture? I can see them. Yeah.
Thank you.
The posting's up there.
So in case you were wondering what that was, I was on the outside of the room of the voting where they had the table with the Democrat conventions and the Republican conventions. It was in a separate room inside City Hall. I voted on the Republican ballot. He voted on the Democrat ballot. He has the paper for his convention, but for ours, we had a QR code. There's a QR code on the door. The security guard said I couldn't scan it. And outside of the voting poll, I was not allowed to scan it either. Now I have someone else who's saying that I can't record when my convention is right there. So as you see, the security guard wasn't even letting.
And people want to say there's nothing going on in Texas. She just showed you. She just showed us. It's getting to a point where it's not that this is ridiculous. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible what's happening in our nation right now. We are in Texas. I mean, I got to put y'all on the map for this one. I mean, you are supporting or putting in legislation passed and introduced for a specific group of people, right? Why? Why? Did you need to do this for Jewish people? Did you need to do this for Armenian people? Did you need to do this for people from Pakistan? Did you need to do this for people from West Africa or Africa? Did you need to do this for Caribbeans? Did you need to do this for Haitians? I'm just saying, who else is this being done for? Because Islam is a religion. And we have freedom of religion, and they are allowed to practice it freely. Why is it being codified into state law? That's the question. It all needs to be abolished, all of it, because it still violates the 10th Amendment. You cannot make laws that hinder other people's freedoms, and this does. And you can say, well, they just want to celebrate. Then celebrate without making it a law. You don't need a law to celebrate or to be recognized. No, you don't. What are y'all doing? What have you done? We have a lot to pray for, you guys. So let's get to it. God, thank you so much for this day, Father. Do you see all of the requests? You see all of the chaos going on in our world, and we're just praying for thanksgiving and cover going into our new beginning. And we just thank you for everything that you've done for us, the protections that you've given us, and how we know you have not left us destitute. And I know at the same time, there are so many things that need to happen, that need to come to fruition so people can see the truth of what is happening. It's almost like they need to see the devastation so they can realize that, oh my goodness, this is actually really happening, Father. But I pray your protection through all of it, Father. I pray that you protect us, that you look after us and our children, our family, and our friends, God, as we go to and fro on the interstates, as we're outside, as we're interacting with other individuals, God. I'm just truly praying, Father, that you protect us, God. Thank you so much for your love and your care, and always just lifting us up, God. I love you, and it's in Jesus' name I pray and give thanks. Amen. And with that, guys, we are going to end the broadcast for today. Thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. We will be back on Monday with our Monday recap. So remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.